Okay, hey, how's it going, guys? It is me, Captain Energy, and I am not sure what is happening here, but for some reason, I can't see this stream on YouTube. Even though it says I'm streaming, even though it shows me streaming, let's try this. Copy this link. And I'm going to paste that right here. And there is my stream. Allegedly. Okay, there we go. I am streaming. Yay. Didn't look like I was because it just looked very, very quiet, I guess. Nothing was happening. There's nobody here, and I've been talking for a while. And in general, I have at least one or two pop-ins, but that's okay. If I don't have anyone come in, that's all right. I'm just going to keep going with what I was doing. All right. So today, again, looking at my Circuit Rhythm, got it hooked up today to my Uno Synth Pro as a secondary instrument. It is hooked up through channel 3. Okay. Sure I'm using the right thing here. Okay, it's just receiving. Let me fix that. Let's go over here to my setup on my Circuit Rhythm, on my Uno Synth Pro. Change that so the channel in is 3. It is. Okay, let's go. Alright, so now we have Synth 1, Synth 2, channel, that's my new Synth Pro on channel 3. Channel 4 is hooked up to nothing. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all drum channels, or trigger channels, so I can trigger a sample or a drum, whatever. And we're just going to make a track right now. Alright, so first, let's get some kick in here. Do I want to use that one? There we go, that's what I want. I'll put that as a 4 on the floor type setup. To do that, I'm pressing the trigger button here, and then I'm just tapping where I want to show up on in the pattern. Or if I do this right now is a 2-bar pattern, I actually want a 4-bar. So I'm going to tap the 1 through 16, 17 through 32 button here. That'll take me to the next set of beats. Now when I play it, there we go. Let me turn that click off now because I really don't need that now that I have a kick drum. But let's turn the tempo up because I do tend to like to be about 138. What can I tell you? I like a little energy with my music. Alright, I'm going to do, let's see, I'm not trying to conserve tracks yet, so I'm just going to use a second track for the drums. Let's see, I'm going to go and find myself something else. Yeah, we'll do a little. There we go. And I'm just going to take that, I'm going to take the filter a little bit so it's not so harsh. Ooh, that was the opposite of not so harsh. There we go. And let's do drum 3. I tend to like a clap. wasn't right there. Let's take a look at the let's find where it was. I'm looking for this right here. Velocity. I'm thinking I'm going to change the velocity here from being so harsh to being something a little, maybe leaving it a little less. Okay. That's a probability type drum that's going to hit every once in a while, but I'm going to turn the volume down just to the attack a little bit. There we go. Give it a little more on the probability. A little less, still a little unpredictable, but let me turn it down just a little. I want a little less frequently. All right, well that's good. Let's go to drum track 4, and now this, I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go. I'm not sure on this. This might be off. Nope, that's right. Let's take this one. Okay, so now we've got our drums going on there. Here. That's what's up. Somehow I got set on the private. Way off there for a second. Let's add that. Nothing else missing there. Hey Ivan, I had some technical difficulties this morning, which I won't get into, but for some reason my video got switched on to private. For some, I didn't change it, but apparently something went wacky where YouTube decided that it would change my video settings to private, which I was like, thanks guys, really appreciate that. And because of it, I was not live and did not know it until it was much into the original broadcast. Yeah, I'm messing with the Circuit Rhythm today. I got it hooked up today to my Uno Synth Pro, and it's hooked up to Reason. Just because I thought it'd be kind of fun to mess with. This thing, I don't know, I am digging this thing. It's a little bit addictive. I do like the way the pads feel to play, which is actually one of the reasons I did get myself a one of these guys, so that I could be able to play the same type of pads and just play anything. I think I showed you this last week, but this thing, I do love this thing. I don't know why. It's just a new obsession of mine. The feel of those pads versus keys sometimes, and I like the keys still, but they got to be full-size keys. Like these little keys are starting to get harder to play. I feel like I need my hands feel cramped up on the smaller keyboards. I can still play them, but it just feels kind of jammed in when you're used to full-size keys. Hey, by the way, so did you work on that track anymore? Because that came out, it was coming along nice, I thought. The one you sent me earlier in the week. Is that the rhythm or the track? Yeah, this is the track, circuit tracks. Yeah, Circuit Rhythm. I have that over here as well, but it's not. It's currently not plugged in. Just hanging out. And that I was actually thinking of bringing that in as well, but it didn't fit in the like in the window here of like where my camera could see. So I was like, I mean, there's no way to put it like right here. I mean, I guess I could put it where my actual keyboard goes, but I kind of need that for things. And I wanted to bring that in so I could do some sampling with it, because the tracks is cool, but it doesn't do any sampling. And I actually feel like, this is going to sound weird, but to have both the tracks and the rhythm is awesome, because with the tracks has built-in synthesizers built, and you can generate sounds from them, and including chords and stuff. Like I can come over here and I can play like chords, and I can sample that chord into the circuit tracks, and now I've got a full chord on one of the samples instead of just having like a one note, because a lot of the stuff is single note samples in there, and it just would really be helpful. Yeah, and as I used to do when I used to when I was in the tracker world, you would record whole bits of what you wanted instead of depending on individual tracks. Like, for example, if I go next to here, so this right here, I would record this loop and I would drop it in on one note, and it would take up a whole channel, because it would be like I'd record like 32 beats of this loop type thing, but that one piece would just take up one channel instead of taking up, right now I've got taking up 4 individual instrument channels, and that's, you'd always optimize and push them that way type thing, and then you'd take stuff like whatever, this loop here or this bit here, and you drop that on as a sample, so you didn't have to play it over and over again type thing. And also because it would, you could add some effects to it, you could add different things to it to make it like a little more, a little fuller, something you couldn't do with just individual notes across the tracker. It's neat trying to find ways to optimize your tracks to work on these limited devices. I do have Reason here though as well. Going on, let me see, where'd you go? Right here. Oh, I guess I shut it down. Oh, I know what happened, because I was having issues with the streaming earlier and I didn't know what it was. And it was the private public thing that I was set on private. I could have sworn it always went to public, but apparently it starts off on private and goes to public when you change it, or they changed it so it does that, one of the two. Not that I'm like super experienced with live streams anyway. I think I've done like 6 of them ever, and usually once they're up and you're good to go, but getting them to that place is the situation. That's where the problems start. And there we go. Let's see here. Do that later. I'm not going to jump in on that right now. Let me bring this over here so I can see the chat while we are here. There we go. The track and the rhythm. Yeah, the track and the rhythm they're both great devices. They're both limited, and I think it's funny because I keep seeing like people do comparisons of them to the SP404 MK2, the Electron, I forget which Electron it is, and itself, the comparing the circuit rhythm to those devices, or the circuit rhythm to the circuit tracks. Well, circuit tracks is cool because it does 2 built-in synthesizers. There are 2 synths built in, and on those 2 synths, there's I'm going to open this up and I'll show you the software. There is synth. Here we go. That, and then we go to here we go. All right, let me turn this so you can see what's happening here. Now, both devices have their own software, just so you know. Like, there's some software that they provide with them from Novation. And the software they give with them, let's move me over here. Yes, right here is good. Let me shrink me down a little. There we go. The software they give with them both is really good. It's online, so it doesn't have to be installed, but you can download it all. So I downloaded it because I kind of wanted to have a local copy. But in this, I can go. That's a lot. Let me turn down just a smidge. Okay, so now this whole thing is editable. I can create patches here, completely create patches. Be sure it's the right. I've got this hooked to the right thing. Yep. So I mean, there are all these different waves that they have, wave types they've got going on. Here's a bunch. 2 oscillators. This one's turned down right now. Got your envelope down here, 1, 2, and 3. The first one, I believe it's I wish they would show you here what they are. I didn't notice that there was a way to see what they are, but it looks like envelope 1 is amp, 2 is I want to say filter, and I can't remember what 3 is. Let me go look over here real quick because it tells you on a different page, which is kind of weird that it would be. Oh, it's on the modulation page. That's what it was. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Envelope 1 is amp, 2 is filter, and 3 is modulation. So I don't know why they couldn't have thrown that over here so you could see 1, 2, and 3. Instead, we just got to guess which one's which. But that's what they control. So I can go over here and we can go. There's my attack. I knew this one's amp. I want to give it like a little bit of a. Oh, I'm on. Click 1. We got LFO over here. We've got a low pass filter, or we have band pass or high pass. This is all 12 decibel or 24 decibel. And it's just you can tell it what you want to bypass. You can also change the, it's kind of neat, if you're using this as a MIDI controller, you can tell it what the knobs do. So if I'm using I was using my Minilog XD, which I actually have one, I could tell it that knob 1 controlled the shape, 2 controlled you can change the knob settings. If you're using it with the bass station 2, I think you said you have a bass station. I don't know how the bass station 1 and 2 coincide together. But if you're using it with that, it could change. So the knobs on top were knob 0 was range to, so you could use the knobs on here to control whatever other hardware you have, which is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. This thing is pretty nice. I really am digging it a lot. And I really think that it has some potential to be used as I'm trying to use it more than just like on its own. Also, I want to use it with reason, not just as its own little standalone thing. And I mean, for example, I think it's funny how everyone gets obsessed with these quote creative samplers, I mean, like the Circuit Rhythm, even, I guess. The Circuit Rhythm is really limited in its way, but like everyone gets obsessed with like the MPK, or MPC rather, and the Electron devices like that. When we've got these software samplers at our disposal, like Mimic, like any of them really, any of the samplers we have the manipulation you can do to the audio with a computer is so much more in most cases than you can with pretty much any of the standalone devices, that it's like, I feel like you're yeah, that does look like Serum. I just saw that. Sorry. It just feels like we're ignoring, what's actually there for what we can carry around with us. But it's at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, if you really want to carry something around with you, all you need is your phone and like any of the Korg controllers. I mean, your iPhone, and you get yourself like, either this guy or let me turn the camera on so you can see what I'm talking about. You get yourself one of these, the Korg, this is the Nano Studio. Nano Key, this was Nano Key ST Studio. Yeah, Nano Key Studio, that's the full name. This thing's got 4 pads, you got 2 octaves, you got 8 knobs, you've got a chaos pad in the middle for X and Y type, modulation, pitch bend type stuff. Plus it has, you can turn the pads to chords, chord pad, and press the chord pad button and they become chords. It has a bunch of different settings and cool things on it. And a couple people were saying to me, I heard that it doesn't work anymore once you get iOS 15. I can confirm that it works fine with iOS 15. I've used it with 3 different devices now with iOS 15. My phone, my iPad Pro 2nd gen, and my iPad Pro, I think 3rd gen. So basically it works with everything. I haven't got an M1 yet. I'm going to wait a while on that because I just don't need another iPad in my life right now. But so far so good. It's connected to everything I've tried to hook it up to, and it has worked great. There is a piece of software that's involved to get that to happen, but I'm not sure that people are... Dang, bumped into my microphone. Sorry about that. Trying to reach over here. There is a piece of software that there it is. It's called this thing right here. I don't know if you can see my phone good. Let me see if I can get it to the point I can see it all right. This right here, it's called BLE MIDI. Sorry, it's blue. It's like Blue MIDI. It's from Korg, and connect BLE MIDI. And if you find it, it's on the App Store. It's free. And this thing shows the devices that are hooked up by Bluetooth and installs, I don't know if it installs drivers for them or what it does, but for some reason, if you're having a tough time getting anything to work that's Korg related, use this software and it'll get it connected, real quick. I had no issues after that. Once I got that going, for a second it was a little tricky getting things to connect to my phone. The iPads were no issue. The phone was a little bit of an issue, but once I got that software installed, it's free. It's from Korg. It's official, so it's not like some generic who knows what's going on in the background type software. It's written by the company who makes the pieces, the hardware. It worked great. I love Mimic. It's funny you ask. Yeah, I do love Mimic, and I mean I think it's great. Have you messed with Mimic yet? It does some really neat stuff. Like, there we go. First, I mean, you've got your regular sample type stuff. So, let's see here. My keyboard working on this? Why do I have no keyboard attached? I'm not on a Mac. I'm on a PC. Okay, sorry. Every once in a while, I forget Macs have this menu under File, and PCs have it under the Edit side here. Let's see. Circuit tracks, Novation Launchpad, Kai MPK Mini. I always get there's too many MP products from Akai here. Yeah. There we go. That was weird. It got a little wonky on me there, but yeah, it's got. Have you used it much? Mimic, that is. Because as I say, it's got some cool stuff. It's got these like slice mode type thing, where it's one slice per key. Let me turn this volume down. That sounds really awful. So you can put a loop in here, and it'll slice it one slice per key. A lot like in this use, it's a lot like Octarex, Dr. Octarex, but unfortunately they haven't started spitting out the MIDI for these. Like, for example, if I did this in Dr. Octarex with a loop like this, Dr. Octarex will spit out like a trigger, note trigger MIDI file type thing. So if let me get that real quick, we'll get Dr. X in here real quick. If I go over here and drop Dr. X in, all right, let's take a look at this guy. It does the same type of thing where each piece gets put to a note. So if I go over here and let's see where it is. I can't remember where on the. Maybe it's down more. Why am I not hearing the samplers? That's really weird. Just checking something here real quick. That's all coming through. That's just everything. Oh, hold on. What's going on with the hair jingling? So that. Why is that so low? That is really weird. Oh, did I turn that? I didn't turn that down that low. I don't think I did. Maybe I bumped into something that I must have bumped into a knob that did it. I'm not sure which knob. Nope, no, not you guys. Okay, well, whatever. I guess I should look at that. There we go. All right, now if I go over to this and I play the keys. Yeah, you can play any of the play them as loops. You can play them as individual sounds. But you can do a lot with Dr. Octarex too. But they basically laid it out so you can bring a sample in, it puts it across into slices. You can do it by pitch, which would be the normal type sampler sounds. Let's see if I can get a sample dropped in here. Let's go over here, and we'll grab. This one's multi-pitch. I'm on the wrong layer. Yeah, but aside from that, we got slices, we got multi-slot, we got multi-pitch, and we got regular pitch. I don't know, I think it's a great little sampler. I know a lot of people were disappointed by it and hoping for more, but, I mean, I think they did a pretty good job with it, so, I don't know. It's just my opinion, I guess. Everybody's got one. I mean, I don't know, I could definitely find like a million uses for this thing. And not to mention, again, like the thing is, you can always bounce your stuff down here. You've got so much room for experimentation within reason that, I don't know, I find it hard to complain about this particular sampler. I mean, I do get that there's, I forget how many there are, but there are like, I think in the teens number of samplers here in reason. Maybe it's just under the teens. It might be like 10 or 11 or something. But, I mean, I don't know. What's one more sampler? That's cool. You know, I mean, it's definitely got its uses, and it's definitely different than, well, for example, this guy right here, Sonic Hybrid. But then again, this does a lot of what that does too. The new... It's just, I mean, I think this thing's pretty cool too. I just love different instruments, you know what I mean? I could just sit here and play around with everything on here for days. By the way, did you find the footsteps you were looking for? Were you able to get the footsteps? Maybe it was in samples that guy said was here. No, that's the... It looks like there are a few different ones here. Let's go right here and grab these and see what they sound like. I know you were looking for something with a walking sound for one of your tracks. That doesn't sound like walking to me, but... Sounds good, but there you go. You could definitely make some cool sounds with that, especially Halloween. That just gave me the chills a little. Walk on the Wild Side. That's not really anything about walking. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's see what this sounds. This sounds like that's not really what I'm looking for either. guess the closest one is going to be the Walking Man. That's neat, but not quite the thing. Let's go here. Like that. Let's go over to. So that was out of the patch collection. I don't even hear anything. That's the walking closet sound? That sounds like nothing. Let's try again. Nothing. That doesn't sound any good. Skywalker sound. Let's see. It's using that for something. It sounds like a snare drum. That doesn't sound like a. I'm not feeling any of that. Nothing here really. Let's go here. And yeah, we could definitely make some good sounds here. You know what? Let's do something kind of creepy. It's Halloween. Why not? Alright, so I was checking out Venus Theory's demo yesterday, making Halloween atmospheres. I thought that was pretty good. And you can accomplish the same thing here in Reason. And let's see if we can do this a couple ways. I'm going to bring in the grain sample manipulator. Okay, this thing does some crazy stuff. Now what we're going to need is a vocal sample. Right now it's set for like magical, like some kind of whatever. But what we want is probably going to be something more like between that and get some vocals in here. Bring in another one of these. We'll just do this. Just go right click and we'll duplicate device and track. That's fine. I don't actually want a duplicate of the device technically, but because we're gonna go up here, we're just gonna hit reset on it. Right click and I'm gonna hit reset. Psh, it's gone. All right. Now what we're gonna need, according to Cameron, is something vocal. So let's look in my sample bank here. I've got a lot of possible samples to pick from here. I forgot to turn this camera off. Let's hide that for a minute. All right, let's get some sounds. So I think what I want to do is go to Drive E. I think it's where I've got my samples. Maybe it's not Drive E. Here it is. Drive G. Okay, this is some stuff I bought just for fun. Let's go for let's just go to that folder. Let's bring this right here. Save me some trouble. I'll go over here to samples, and now these may not be the samples I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure they're not. We'll see what we have here anyway, though. That's pretty nice. I don't know. Hey, Ivan. Just looking for some samples to mess with. But yeah, just doing some of this, going through some of the samplers. This grain one's pretty cool for creating like creepy backgrounds, and you can do a lot with it. But I mean, one of the things I've seen done with them a lot is as really interesting texture-y type backgrounds. goes. This might be a good one. Alright. And let's bring this over here. Let's see. It's a bigger loop than what we got going on here. There we go. And then he was adding some distortion, I believe, to it, and a little bit of reverb. Better distortion to add to something that's supposed to be creepy than scream, I guess. So then you just render that down. Let's go over here, and we will go take this. That's where I just a note in here. Right now I'm probably at C is -1, I think. It's not long enough to even hear it. Maybe I'm at C0. Let's bring it up. Yeah, it's probably about right there. If we just take this, we stretch this way out here. So we have some time on it. And then if I just go out here, I can take this thing and just right click it and render in place, bounce in place, boom. And now we've got some creepy kind of background sound for something in like Halloween sounding soundtrack type thing. I'm just going to take this, I'm going to normalize it. I can still control the volume obviously by the mixer, because right now it's going to be kind of loud. Let's turn it down to about there. It's kind of crazy how just taking something that you'd listen to and think nothing of, when you slow it way down, it takes on kind of a life of its own. I remember one time when I was young, playing with a reel-to-reel tape deck that I had acquired from a family member who was throwing away some trash. Basically, it was a real old tape deck, and in the tape that it had, I don't even know if you could get tape for it anymore, honestly, but it was old. And I had no budget, so I was using what I could, and messing with it, and I did some crazy experiments with that thing. Among them were taking regular cassettes, the regular tape from a cassette deck, and running that tape through it, making basically my own edges for it so that it wound back upright onto the reels, because those cassettes didn't have edges to them. They didn't, like a bobbin, how a bobbin has an edge. It didn't have the plates on the side. It just had like flat, and the cassette itself acted as the kind of condenser to hold the tape together. But I took those reels out and made my own and put them on there. They were paper, but it did the job to mess with it, and recorded on the little thin tape with the big fat recording head and got some weird results. But one time we put the tape back in that was the regular tape that it came with, and I went to play something and heard this voice, and it was the creepiest thing I had ever heard, I should say, at the time. And I was like convinced that we had played something backwards, like played the tape backwards, put it in backwards, because the head wasn't like a flip the tape play. It was the type we could flip the tape around and it would play what was there, but it would play it backwards. It wouldn't play at one head. It didn't do two-sided tape. So I flipped the thing around and played this thing, I thought, and it just sounded like this message. And I was like, at the time, pretty religious, and I thought for sure we had heard a satanic message. It turns out that what ended up happening was, in the course of me playing with the cassette deck, I had turned the speed way, way down, and it was my sister doing something and talking in the background, and it was, the words were, "I want some tissue paper," because she was doing some kind of craft project. And I was recording and messing around, whatever, and I didn't realize it was old content, and it was just like when it played back, it was like, and we're like, ah, what is going on? Yeah, they were great. They sounded cool, and at the time, I gotta say I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have at the time, because it was like the 80s and I wanted something higher fidelity, you know what I mean? This was somebody else's essentially trash, you know what I mean? I basically didn't, I wasn't I kind of wanted newer stuff if possible, you know what I mean? This thing was like old, like when I got it, it looked like garbage, and I had to like, I was into electronics and stuff, so I got it, and it needed some actual work. Like, there was corrosion in the battery terminals, so I had to clean all that out, and there were a couple, like capacitors that needed to be replaced or something. There was something inside. It needed work. It needed a little bit of work. The power supply wasn't working quite right. It wasn't delivering proper power. My uncle helped me out with that, because my Uncle Joe, he's the man, he helped me get a wall wart or something to replace it. I forget what he did, but he did something to help me replace it, and I think we actually bypassed the internal power supply and put a jack on it. Was what we ended up doing. But yeah, it was funny, because it's like you've done so many weird things, so many weird experiments and stuff, and here we are now, and most of the things that I've ever been able to do in any other way, capacity, format, function, for any reason, can now be done in a program like Reason or Cubase, on screen, without any kind of outside gear manipulation or outside gear required, and with better results in a lot of ways, because you have more control over it. Not to mention, you can also, nothing is pardon me, nothing's destructive. You never lose anything. You know what I mean? You can just go back a couple steps and save where you're at. You can save it in increments. Whereas, like back in the day, it was, if you messed up, it was gone. If you lost it, it was truly lost. There was no bringing stuff back from the grave once you accidentally trashed it. So. Yeah, I did some crazy, weird experimental electronics and sound type experiments back then. I used to have a bunch of, which I wish I had some of these still today, because they would have, like today, I would do a whole different thing with them. But at the time, I had a bunch of Radio Shack. If anyone out there who's watching knows what Radio Shack is, if you're younger, you have no idea. But in the 80s, Radio Shack was amazing. It was the coolest place, and if you've seen Stranger Things, the most recent episode, or the second most recent episode, I think it might have been a series, the second season, had a guy named Bob, and Bob worked at Radio Shack. And that's kind of what Radio Shack was. It was quite the place to work at. I actually did get an opportunity to work there when I was a little older, but they were already kind of on the decline by then. But in the 80s and 70s, they were a hip, happening place where everybody went to Radio Shack. It was the coolest place ever. Yeah. I used to have a bunch of kits from there that you could make these like bird chirpy sounds and weird like sounds off it. I learned how to make an oscillator, that type of thing. And I was like, man, I could have, if I had had that stuff around now, the samples I'd be generating with that thing would be so cool, because they'd be like so pure and like, changeable, tangible even, like, though, because it's like I'm actually changing this resistor or this capacitor, or we're running it through this rig here and change the sound. To understand how the sound worked better would be cool. At the time, I didn't fully appreciate it in that way. I just thought, this is cool, I'm making bird sounds. I wonder if I can attract a bird to come over here and land on, like, whatever. I was like a little kid. But today I'd be like, dang, that sounds really good. Let's mess with that. Maybe I can, create some new crazy synth sound that will be, the next big thing, because, it's so unusual. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to just mess around with this though, because I was thinking, maybe we'll throw something together real quick. Let's get a couple instruments in here. Maybe we'll use the I'm going to use the Theremin I just released. Why not? Oh, I was asking you, by the way, did you find footsteps for the track you were working on? Because if you didn't, I was looking around here to see if I could find anything for you, and I did find one thing that was pretty good. That's my other project on. The only thing I found was this, the Walking Man. What I'd probably do with this would be sample it and work with that. You can actually get some pretty weird, let's see here. Yeah, this one's pretty good. It's called The Walking Man. This is a factory sound too. I was trying to find walking ones for you, but yeah, but once you get like a few good off that, like a few good sound effects off that, you could just, sample them down and work with that. As far as the squeaky doors and that type of thing, I was like, man, let's find one at your house and grab your iPhone and then drag it out, like close that door slower than you've ever closed it, or open it. That's what I do when I do squeaky door sound, because you've always got a hinge somewhere in your house that's like, some kind of creepy sound. Really looking forward to Halloween this year. I don't know why. You'd think I was a kid or going to a party or something. I'm not. I just enjoy Halloween. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite holidays. Halloween and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving takes over, but Christmas is also pretty awesome. But Christmas is generally pretty expensive also, you know what I mean? Especially when you have two children. One's 15, one's, 20 now, and you're thinking, I was trying to explain to my son the other day that I'm like, when you were a kid, when you were a child, like a baby, for like $100, I could put more presents under the tree than you knew what to do with. Now, as a 15-year-old, if I spent $100 on a present for you and that's all I spent, you might have one thing under the tree. So I mean, you gotta. It becomes hard to, give a lot of things. I'm trying to explain to him that you get what you get, but at the same time, I'm not rich. I just I'm a regular guy. Just puts money. Like I save all year for Christmas. You know what I mean? So that I can buy my kids something decent that they actually want. But my son always comes to me with these Christmas lists, I'll say, and I'll be like, dude, the first item on your list is an iPhone like 12 or 13 or whatever. I'm like, that's a $1,500 device. You're not getting that. I'm like, I'm not spending that much on everything I'm buying you, let alone on one thing. So, let's take this down, not even just a notch. Take this down like 15 notches. Come to me again when you have a budget of like, say $300 or $400. I'm not, and then of course I may go over that, but I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely not going to spend $1,500. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's. What do you mean they have effects you don't want on them? Like reverb and such? You want them like just stripped down? Yeah, man, you definitely do. I mean, that's my one coworker is always telling me, "Oh, I can't wait to have kids. I can't wait to have kids." I'm like, dude, enjoy the holidays now when you're buying like just for your wife and it's like nice and quiet. And I'm like, yeah, once you have kids, it changes everything. I'm not saying my kids are great. I love them so much, but it really does. It's an adjustment, and it's a lot of people I know who've had children were not, I'll say, fully ready for it when they had them. And I'm not saying that I was fully ready for it when I had mine, but I was ready to be ready, if that makes any sense. Like I changed everything. Before that, I used to be in music production. I wasn't worried about money because I figured I'd get money in bursts. You know what I mean? Just for my entire life, I'd be doing music production, doing projects for people, making stuff, remixes and that type of thing for different labels. That's what I was doing. And then I had my daughter, which was when I decided, okay, it's time to stop screwing around, pardon my language, but I had to stop that, and I had to find myself a regular job with benefits and a future plan, because though I didn't mind living off of ramen or whatever for a month here and there, I think to do that to my kids was probably going to be considered neglect. So I didn't want to do that to them. So I went and got myself a regular job, and I fortunately had a marketable skill set other than music as well, because I had been doing computer programming. So I got myself a job as a programmer. And from there to today, that's what I do for a living. I'm a computer programmer. I've done some projects that I'm really proud of. I've done some projects I could care less about. But, it doesn't really matter what I want so much as that I have money to pay the bills and keep my kids clothed and fed and with a roof over their head. You know what I mean? I'd do just about anything if I had to take care of them. But that's just, that's life. I don't know, but it's kind of also funny that neither of my kids is interested in music production, which is really kind of sad to me because I really had hoped that at least one of them would have been like gung ho. And my daughter has an amazing voice, but she doesn't want to sing. Even though she does walk around the house singing all the time, she won't sing for me in the booth. And it's kind of funny that way. She's an artist and a tattoo artist, and she's really good at art. That's been my other thing that I used to do. I was going to be a comic book artist at one point in my life. My daughter kind of took over in that area for me and does art for a living. And my son is basically he's planning to go into the military, and he's very mechanically inclined, which is a great skill set to have also. And he is going to become a diesel mechanic for the military, or for maybe what am I looking for here? Consumer type, whatever. If you drive a truck or whatever, and you need your truck worked on, there's my son doing the work. But he's looking to go into the military to advance that option. So, sorry. See what happens. Yeah, it's good. I mean, working is okay, I guess. I am kind of worn out a lot of times on just work. And I spend an awful lot. This orange room that you guys see in the background is where I work for real as well as for fun. So I spend an awful lot of time in the orange room here. And I've thought actually of painting it. I've been in this room for several years now, and I'm actually thinking of changing the wall color to possibly green. And the reason I think I'm going to do green is because I could use it as a green screen. If I did it in that green screen green, then I could do, what's it called? I could do like a chroma key type stuff and have a transparent background. I just need to get a lot of the stuff out of this room to do that. Because the room is overcrowded, and fortunately you guys don't see everything, even though you see a lot of things. This room is very overcrowded, and I don't know why I hear all this noise in the background. If you guys can hear that, that's my family outside of my door apparently, even though they know I'm streaming. Yeah. I think that sounds pretty good, this thing here, though. I was just thinking about that. Let me see what they got going on in here. I'm curious. Let's take a look. Okay, so it's a Thor. And reverb. So basically, it's not really that much to it. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I would definitely use that on something. But let me get my. I want to get my. Let's go over here. This is where I keep all the instruments that I've made, basically. So I'm going to grab a haunted piano. Kind of looking to do something a little creepy, so I figure I'll use the instruments I've been making here. There's my tabla. Oh, here's another patch I did. And where is my... Can't find my theremin. Thought it was right there. Maybe I put it somewhere else. I might have put it in the actual folder I have the video in. Open file location. There we go. There it is. Alright, let's do something with this. That did not. I hate when it does that for some reason every once in a while. See, it puts them in the right place when I quantize them. But the first batch of notes sometimes just ends up at the end of the track. I haven't figured out why that is yet. Let's take that down. That's the impact velocity is a little high there. I want it to be more gentle. And let's go out to the top and snip this puppy so that we have it. It didn't have a pre-count, which I forgot about. Brings to the end here. Bring that back over here. And let's turn on my pre-count. So again, I may actually have to. What time is it? Oh, geez. I actually have an appointment at 1 o'clock, so I have to cut this off in like 10 minutes. I'll have to come back. Maybe I'll do more tonight once I get back. But basically, I'd like to. My ultimate goal would be to do something Halloween-ish, Halloween-y. If you or if anyone watches this besides Ivan, if it's not just Ivan, you can submit suggestions anyway, you know that. But if anyone else is watching, you just hit me up, throw me any suggestions you want to, samples, or if you have any access to samples you'd like to see me use that are not copywritten, let me know. Throw me a link. I'll be glad to check them out and see if they fit into my vision. But I'd like to do something pretty cool. I mean, I don't know, maybe even something like that Spooky Scary Skeletons song or something, where it's like an actual, like a danceable rhythm, because this is kind of... I don't know. I don't want to go too... You can do a lot with this theremin synth, and stuff you can't do with a real theremin, which is actually kind of neat. But... yeah, definitely enjoying that thing. I don't know. I thought pretty good time making it too. Anyway, real. Oh, I'm sorry. Somehow my chat got left behind here. Halloween samples. Yeah, no, man. I don't know what happens to I swear, man, every year I feel like I build a sample library of things or like a bunch of synthesizers. Like this year I'm trying to be extra careful with them to make sure that I back them up and put them somewhere where I can get to them again, like this theremin, like the piano. I mean, whatever, but I mean, the whole thing is like my tabla too. That's another one that I built that I don't want to lose. I mean, like this guy, if you probably heard that, I don't know if you... yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. I love this instrument and my 909 are my two favorites so far. I mean, the other ones are good, but these two just really kind of made me happiest to make. And there'll be more. I was going to do one more instrument this year, but I didn't get a chance to, and I wanted to do an angry organ type sound. So maybe next Halloween, unless I get it done tonight, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe we'll build that tonight. Maybe we'll build a new organ sound. That'd be pretty fun to build a sound live for Halloween. And that way we could have some really creepy organists bust it out and use it to scare the heck out of people who are kind of trick-or-treating to their house. No, just kidding. Anyway, maybe we'll do some vocal stuff too. That'd be interesting. Like I'll throw some samples together of my voice for you guys and whatever, because I'd have some, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Anyway, alright, well I'm gonna call it quits for right now, and I will be back later on tonight, I think, to do more. Tomorrow is Halloween. So we definitely have to get our freaky spook on tonight, I think. That's my goal. So, alright. Ivan, I will talk to you in a little while. Or anyone else who comes on. If Ivan's here, if you're not here later, that's cool too. Don't feel like you gotta be here. I will catch you in a little while. Bye for now.